I should probably start this video out with a list of crimes that Ezra Miller has committed. Uh, but let's talk about the movie first because that's going to be added to the list of crimes.
I'm
We're Barry.
Let me go ahead and get it out of the way. I've mentioned it before, but superhero fatigue is not really fatigue of the genre. It's the fatigue of bad superhero movies. And this one is no exception to the rule. Now, I will start with the pros. And I think it's important to highlight the main one here is that the movie had every chance of being great. Not good, great. When you watch this film, you can find enjoyment in it. And it truly has some spots where it almost reached a level where it was passable. But the consistent, underwhelming delivery from every actor and actress to the poor CGI to the almost awful script writing, everything undermined what was an exceptional plot. And to me, that's inexcusable. There were strokes of genius. I think the plot was fantastic. And I think, as I've mentioned already, it could have been great. I felt afterwards that anyone could have done this movie better. But the problem is that they did not spend the time necessary and did not really flesh out the details like they should have for a movie of this caliber. And with that, let's dive into a bigger issue at hand. And that is, crunch time. This movie looked bad. The CGI was something you'd see in a PlayStation 2 game. I mean, it's rough. It is abrasively rough. It ruins your immersion. Rough. It's not an attractive movie to watch. And that's because you auction off these scenes that you need animated and the crunch time gets to you and it's just not good quality. Which is one reason why I think DC is struggling to even begin to compete with Marvel. Marvel might not have the best scripts, but everything's gorgeous. Besides a few scenes here and there, Marvel really does hit it out the park. And that's not up for debate. But let's dive into some of the cons real quick. Number one, and I think the most important one here, is Ezra Miller. They are sticking by him, despite his crimes. They're sticking by him for the next Flash movie, should there be another Flash movie. He's not a good Flash. You cannot watch this movie and tell me he's a good Flash. It's not that he's quirky and nervous and anxious. No, he's not a good actor. This is legitimately bad. It's laughable watching him try to act. And I'm not saying anyone else is better than him in the movie. The only person who I think is tolerable is Michael Keaton as Batman. Even Supergirl, who had a chance to be good, she barely was in the movie. She says 5 voice lines. There's no character to her. So you're concentrating on Ezra Miller the whole time in what is arguably an awful acting job. It's tragic when you look at the movie as a whole and what it could have been. But Ezra Miller is a serious deterrent for this film. And I know they're planning on sticking by him, but after the box office results, I don't know that they can. This movie is expected to gross, I think, $60 million domestically first weekend. Mind you, I think they were projected, or they wanted like $110 million. So they've barely done half. That's a disaster. That is almost the definition of a disaster. Okay, they've had Shazam 2, now The Flash. I think they have is it Blue Beetle, one more this year, maybe another I'm missing. These films are not going to deliver. You are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on movies that aren't grossing near what they need to domestically. That is terrible. It's truly terrible. DC needs to figure something out soon and figure out a way to start developing the DC universe or whatever their plans are. They need to have a cohesive strategy and really begin to understand the implications of keeping someone like Ezra Miller on. Now, I'm not saying he's the reason the film didn't gross what it should have. The movie looked awful. You watch the trailer, you don't want to see it. but I'm sure it didn't help. Another thing to note, I think for me, and probably most people, is it's really not fun to watch. It doesn't look good. And the director or producer or someone said, like, well, it's supposed to look that way. That's the biggest cop out I've ever seen. The movie doesn't look good. And it's not because you're looking at it from the Flash's point of view. It's just not good. It's grainy, it's choppy, it's blocky, it's just not, it's not good. And you hate it, and you hate to see it. And I really do, because I thought after watching it, the movie had everything it needed to be successful. The plot was there. It just, the delivery missed on every spot. I talked about the bad acting. Talk about the script. I think this one fell victim to the too much humor. That's been, I think, the trend in superhero movies for the last 5 years. I can understand Flash. Flash is a more comedic character. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. I watched a lot of Justice League growing up. He's comical. He's the lighthearted, jovial guy of the bunch and of the Justice League. But it doesn't even come across that way in this movie. It comes across as childish and stupid and ignorant. I won't even say stupid, ignorant. One thing that's pretty nuanced, and I'm probably can't take points off for this. Two of the dumbest cameos I've ever seen in my entire life. Truly. The last one in the movie, the end of the movie, there's a cameo, and I'm not going to spoil anything. It's pretty bad. No, it's bad. I'm not even going to say pretty bad. It's bad. Definitely up there. But there's a cameo about 20, 30 minutes before that is significantly awful and might be, in my opinion, the worst cameo I've ever seen in a movie in my life. It's 5 seconds on your screen, and it's by far, I think, the most jarring experience of the entire film. I could not believe what I was watching. No one's in the theater with me. I'm like glancing side to side. I need to know if someone just saw what I saw. Is that the same actor or actress that I just looked at? Unbelievable that DC went that way. I hope nothing comes of that cameo, but just be on the lookout should you decide to watch this film. And if you are thinking about it, let me tell you, personally, I would rate this movie, I think, like a 4.5. It has the makings of something to be good. And I did, I think, enjoy the time at the theater. It does have glaring mistakes that take away from all amounts of enjoyment. But as a self-proclaimed movie critic, I'm going to go even lower. I'm going to go 3.5. It's just bad. The only saving grace is Michael Keaton. Even then, he has a few terrible lines. Some of the scenes look good. And I think, like I said multiple times now, the plot had every making of being great. The Flash movie could have been a rebirth for DC, and it wasn't. So this movie, I don't think you waste money on seeing this in theaters. I don't think you give DC the satisfaction of this film. I think you wait for it to come to DVD because they're going to pull it out of theaters very quickly. It's not delivering. It's not delivering, and I think it's overall harming to their image. And they might try to save a little bit of that before Blue Beetle comes out. Either way, that's it for today's review of The Flash. Tomorrow, we're going to go see Asteroid City, Wes Anderson's new film. Stay on the lookout for that one. This weekend, I'll go see No Hard Feelings. That looks good, but probably still bad. And then next week, we have Past the Lives coming out, A24's new film. My second most anticipated movie of the year. So I'm looking forward to reviewing those. Thank you all for your time. Let me know if you saw it, what you think in the comments. I want to see how others felt about The Flash.